Today we have the amazing opportunity to sit down with Mark Royce, the president of General Motors, and we have the all-new Escalade IQ behind us. We're going to talk about some of that, talk about the industry, and of course we have to talk about Corvette. But first off, with the Escalade IQ, what excites you the most about electrifying an icon like the Cadillac Escalade?
Well, you know, our ICE or internal combustion engine Escalade is really it's a derivative off of what we call our truck T1 platform. So we flex that for pickup trucks, for heavy duties, for SUVs. When we do an electrified version of an icon from the ground up, we get to do things proportionally from a design-wise that are very different than traditional truck proportions. So things like the ball of foot to front axle, that length is very different on this. And you'll see it here in the design, and that's a very different proportion. So those are really fun things, but engineering-wise, you almost can write what you want to do down on a piece of paper, and a blank piece of paper, because we do things like four-wheel steer, we do pillar-to-pillar screens, we do, and it's really Escalade in its purest form and its next form. So you get to do that, which is really fun, and you get acceleration, you get all the things that better electric vehicles get you, of course. But I think when you drive this and you get to drive it, it'll be the most foreign SUV experience that you have ever driven. It's really not intuitive, because driving over railroad tracks, driving over bumps, cornering, parking, it's like no other SUV I've ever driven.
The ultimate iteration of the Escalade, you think?
It is, absolutely.
Because I have an Escalade V right now that I'm driving, and I love that thing.
I saw that out there.
Yeah, the red one. That thing is hysterical.
That makes my dog bark.
Yeah. So as the industry goes towards EVs, and as a legacy OEM like General Motors, what do you see are some of the pros and cons? Because there's a lot of little startups coming up, because I think EVs are making that a little more possible. It is,
and I guess the regulatory piece of that is much different than it used to be for a startup to go through and missionize and all that. So it is a little easier for a startup these days than it was, but I think it's hard because this is still a scale and a volume business. And so doing one is one thing, doing two is hard, doing three is even harder for a startup. So the money, in particular right now, the capital markets really aren't, it's hard to get money, it's hard to raise money for your next one, or an iteration of it, or just to get it into production is very expensive. There's a lot of cash burn. So that's pretty tough. I would also say, and you have to capitalize the facility to make it in, all very difficult for a startup, but there's a lot of forgiveness and a lot of excitement, particularly in North America, for startups and new things, and hey, I like to see them too. It's exciting. So those are some pretty good pros, and there's some really good, smart people doing those, which is great. The con piece of it, I mentioned a little bit on the money piece of it, but also I think people like General Motors have a unique advantage, because we can make both internal combustion engines and EVs right now, and we have capacitized both. And so we'll have factories that make both, like Spring Hill. And then we'll have factories like Factory Zero, where the Escalade is made, which is all EV, and that's very efficient, and it's very high tech, and it's very, very much a capacity, volume, efficiency play. So we're going to have both. So the agility that we have, we don't have to go capitalize a factory. We have factories. We have equipment. We have robots. We have all those things, and so as a legacy automaker, the agility you have, we're enjoying that right now. So it's pretty good, because as battery costs come down, as the scale increases, that makes our EV value proposition better and better and better. At the same time, we still are funding it through our internal combustion engine portfolio. So that's a great source of funding for us.
That is. So which of the EV platforms that have already launched are you the most excited about? So the Cadillac team is going to be this one, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I love this platform, because it does everything in a pretty wide range of things. I also say BEV3, which is our lyric-based architecture, is very good from a different standpoint, because you get everything from a lyric to some of the Blazer, Equinox, and that's where you get scale on it, so it's good from that standpoint. The one that we haven't seen yet is the one I'm most excited about, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I think we're going to segue into Corvette now.
No.
No,
I think for me, this one right now is just, it's brilliant. It really is. I love every piece of it.
I'm impressed. First look, hearing from the team,
good.
It's really cool.
It's very, very good. It's very Cadillac. It's very, it's just, it is the standard of the world. It really is.
Let's talk about Corvette though, because
Yeah.
I know you love it.
Right.
I have a Corvette Z06. I absolutely love that car. It's the favorite car I've ever owned. It stacks up against cars 2 to 3x the price and beats it. What was your first impression when you drove the new Z06?
The new Z06.
Yeah.
Well, the first impression was we didn't have the sound right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was the early mules that we were developing, and so we really went back, and we have some super talented people, and discovered, because we hadn't done a mid-engine car for a long, long time, and so to discover how the sound of that car actually bounces off, reflects, and makes its way into the cabin was something we hadn't done.
Okay.
And so we figured that out and got the sound. I know you like the sound of it.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
the sound of it.
It's unbelievable.
But that impression of the car didn't match the rest of the capability.
Okay.
And so we worked hard on that. That was the very first car I drove, which, it wasn't the first C8. The first C8 was something called Blackjack.
Okay.
Which was a Holden Ute.
Oh, I saw that one at the C8 launch.
Yeah,
Yes,
and we
yes.
knew we built it, and it was like, geez, can we really do this? That car, was the key to open that we can do this and we can do it well.
Yeah.
But the Z06 piece of it was absolutely stunning from an engine and vehicle standpoint. The capability of the car at places like the Nürburgring, our MRC in Milford, Michigan here. I'd never driven a car like that. It is absolutely on rails. It's progressive. It's linear. It's you feel like a pro driving it.
Oh yeah.
In all instances, and so I love it.
So how about compared to the E-Ray? Now I got ride along in the E-Ray. You've obviously gotten the drive one. Which one would you pick?
I'm driving one right now,
Yeah.
and I've got 470 miles on it, so
Okay.
I'm almost to the 500 break-in
Oh man,
mark.
the amount of self-control to not just floor it immediately. Oh, it was so hard.
It's hard. It's hard. But I think if I'm driving it every day, which
Okay.
I do, and I drove Z06s right up until we launched it, and I'm driving this right up until we launch it.
Okay.
And those are the final cals. But on an everyday basis, you get on an E-Ray, you get the wide body, so you get the design.
Yeah.
You get there's a little more weight, like 400 pounds, but not crazy.
Okay.
But that weight of the battery and the front axle from a damping and dynamic standpoint is an incredible experience in a Corvette. It's very pleasant every day.
Okay.
And the car, wide open 0-60, it's a tenth faster than the Z06.
It's real quick.
And you can, sort of like the blackness on the tunnel, if you got it floored all the way. But you get all the power to the ground. It's all-wheel drive.
Yep.
It's all the time. And I could drive, in Michigan, I could drive that car all year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty attractive to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty hard to, and it's a very subtle, distinct car. And I can pull out of the garage and my dog does not bark at me.
That's true.
Stealth mode is very important.
Yes.
Which is, I get up very early, so that's a very cool thing. So I gotta say that I don't know. I think the E-Ray is pretty cool every day.
Well, the correct answer is both.
Both, yeah.
That's obvious. One for the weekends, one for the day-to-day.
Yeah,
like
if
that
you're
is
gonna track the car, the Z06.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
The stealth mode, when I cold start the Z06, you can hear it from 3 towns over.
Oh yeah,
it's loud,
big.
but
It's
it's good. That's
Yeah,
good. It makes me happy.
Yeah, it's good.
So it has been a challenge for a lot of enthusiasts trying to get these really desirable vehicles. Z06 an example, and just the market value and demand is so high, so there's obviously adjusted markup and things like that. Do you see an end to that, and how do you feel about that type of thing?
I don't know if it ends. When we introduce a Cadillac Escalade IQ, and we'll be in the 130,000 area for that car, and that's an expensive vehicle. But I would say this is the ultimate. And so if we keep delivering, things that people still see as highly desirable with value that are excellent, I think that excellence drives the price. And our average transaction prices right now are the highest in the industry. And that's a good reflection of what people think of our products, but it's also drives our residual values for leasing. And vehicles like this, and we have a good leasing portfolio. And when you get into to Escalades and drivers of high average transaction prices, I don't think it ends. I think it may be different. We introduced a Chevrolet Trax at like $22,000.
I was impressed by that.
It's a great car.
Yes.
Okay.
Very,
it's
very
the
good.
Best entry-level car we've ever done.
Yeah.
General Motors has ever done. And I would say I'd put it up against anything in the world at that price point. So we're going to have it all. And so I don't think it ends. We're gonna, we got to deliver great vehicles at every segment and every price point for our customers.
There's barely anything in the world that's at the Trax price point. I drove it, I'm like, wow, this is less than the options on my Z06, but it is phenomenal. It was great.
Phenomenal.
Road tripped it from Chicago out here. I drove it out here for the Buick Drive.
It's great.
Yeah, I was impressed.
So,
yeah. You're so passionate about the industry, automotive, you hear all the stories about it. What part of your job allows you to express that the most? Like, how have you done that?
I walk into a studio and design. I think, but I'm an engineer as well, and I spend a lot of time in the plant floor, and a lot of time in engineering, and the creativity of the auto industry. I don't care if it's design, engineering, sales and marketing. This is a highly competitive business. It rewards those who are creative and are passionate about it, and that's what I love about it.
Gotcha. So then, last thing, I get this question often. What piece of advice would you give somebody who's considering or wants to enter the automotive industry?
I would always say, this is not a halfway industry. This is a very difficult industry. And again, it rewards people who have the passion on the vehicle, no matter what you're doing in the enterprise around the vehicle. I don't care if you're on the legal staff in General Motors or an auto company, or whatever function you're in. If you don't love vehicles and our customers, and I wouldn't get into it, because you're not going to be great at it, because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of creative skill, and it's highly fun. And if you like to have fun doing that, then absolutely. But if you're not, then it probably won't be for you.
You've got the dream job. I mean, it probably doesn't feel like work, right? If every day is fun, it doesn't feel like work.
That all the time. But
After the 16th meeting of the day, you're like, wait a second. No, but I hear that.
Yeah.
Truly passionate about it makes it just so much better in every way. Yeah,
Totally.
you got to do that way.
Yeah. No, I think, I'm not sure it's only the auto industry. You got to do what you love.
I agree.
I tell that to young people all the time. If you don't love it, you're going to spend more time at work than you are at home.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and so you really got to love what you do.
Yeah. I'm lucky to have that. I could sit here talking about cars for the next 3 days straight.
Right. And you're
just
good
do
at
that
it because you love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's easy. It doesn't feel like work. Yeah.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
Thank
I
you
really
very much.
appreciate the
Thank you,
opportunity.
Eddie.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
And I can't wait to drive one and the E-Ray.
You're going to love this. This is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's that good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll put that next to the Z06
There you
and
go.
an E-Ray. And I need a bigger garage after that. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.